Goddess Stacy Asuna has finally arrived. Oh yes, it's time for Asuna to kick some ass. Gabriel, just log out now. So what's up guys, Foxen here. SAO Alicization War of the Underworld episode 9, 3 more. At last, Asuna Stacy has arrived, plus a quick appetizer fight. Since you're awesome, go ahead and hit that like, ring the bell, and let's dive into this episode. At the very beginning, you have the God Vector, aka Gabriel, mentioning Alicia, Alice. Last episode, some of you were confused about this. Could Alice actually be Alicia reincarnated? Let me just clarify this, it's actually not too complicated. Gabriel is simply freaking insane. And I know, Alicia and young Alice look kinda similar, but no relation. This episode, you got a very nice surprise. New changes for the SAO War of the Underworld opening. Midway through this, you actually now have Asuna converting into her God Stacia account. Oh, but am I forgetting about something? They also showed Goddess Leifia and Goddess Shinan. Yes, they've already revealed it, aka spoiled it. Both of them are actually on the cover for SAO Light Novel 17. As for other changes, you got the addition of Integrity Knight Renly, Scheta, and Uncle Bercoli fighting it off. For a scene change, you got Alice teaming up with Goddess Asuna taking on Vector. So it has been a while since I read SAO Light Novel 18, so don't quote me on this. But I really don't recall this type of scene happening. Definitely not this team up combat scenario. I'll touch on this a little bit later. And don't forget Kirito. Previously this Kirito shot was during the Quinella fight. Now you got Kirito on the Dark Territory side. Oh my god. I would say spoiler, but more like very obvious upcoming stuff. Don't worry, Kirito will wake up eventually. Anyway, getting into Alice and Bercoli's plan that's now into motion, working as expected. So quick war update. The Dark Territory side is down to about half of their troops. You still got all the Boxer guys and the Dark Knights untouched at this point. How about nuking those guys too? Right here, I did like Bercoli bringing up the possible peace option. That is, if they could take enough of them out. So freaking awesome, finally a mention of Shasta, even though they did cut out that last Bercoli scene of Bercoli sensing Shasta's last moment. Cut out here from the SAO anime was them doubting whether the new Dark Knight leader would have inherited Shasta's mindset. Then, a nice little moment with Renly, Bercoli now admiring the young Integrity Knight. What a change for Renly. Alice also brought up how Quinella's damning ritual shouldn't be a requirement for an Integrity Knight. I like the touch of Alice touching Eldrie's remaining whip. Very subtle foreshadowing here? Anyway, next interruption. Yes, the pugilists were definitely outrunning the Dark Knights on their freaking horses. Like Bercoli hinted at, this Dark Territory race has trained their bodies to the absolute limit. They use incarnation to power themselves up to the point of being able to outrun horses, making their bodies as strong as steel to stop blades, and easily smash boulders. Their only weakness? Ironically, that happens to be magic. What is this, freaking Pokemon? Sacred Arts is super effective. This is partly since there's really not much of a chance for them to train against sacred magic in the Dark Territory side. Cut out from the SAO anime was actually a funny scene. Bercoli happened to suggest to Alice, hey, how about stripping down? You know, since armor and clothing would be useless versus these guys. In fact, it would only slow you down. Then welcoming Scheta, I'll go. Funny how even freaking Bercoli was scared of her. It is debatable as to whether this guy was afraid of her or more like creeped out by her. She's known as Scheta the Silent, which almost never talks. So let me just put it out there, I've always been a fan of her role in SAO Alicization. I've always got this Claymore vibe from her. Come on, Claymore reboot one day. Getting into Scheta versus Iskahn. I mentioned before how I always got this Rock Lee vibe from him. And props to the voice actor picked out from him. Same thing for Yote. She's even a fangirl too, my god. I would ask for a figure for her, but that's not gonna happen. But holy damn, they did it. They actually did it. No holding back at all for poor Yote getting sliced like a hot knife through butter. Your arm is gone. For Scheta's backstory here, at this point I'm just glad they included something. Quinella really just put it out there for the anime. Scheta has this obsession with slashing, which was something that confused even Scheta herself. In the anime, they actually fast forward to it. Scheta had already retrieved the flower that Quinella requested. You had the divine Black Lily sword being born, a sword that could cut through anything. To me, it really felt like Quinella was screwing around with Scheta with that BS. Oh, your curse may be broken. What a load of nonsense. And yes, there is a good chunk more to Scheta that I'll come back to. Anyway, getting into Scheta's carnage. So many limbs shredded on this day by her. And oh yes, they definitely kept it in the anime. Bercoli right here hinted at something pretty important. Quinella claimed that it was his murderous intent from Scheta, but actually that wasn't the case. Scheta simply loved slicing away. Killing was not a priority. Switching to Visago making his move. I'm actually glad that they kept the scene of Visago going off to join the fun, just showing this post already having done the action. Take a notice of Gabriel right here. This trained veteran correctly predicted where Berkoli and his friends would move towards. By the way, Visago's random English always makes me smile. Anyone else?
5 down.
Anyway, back to Iskahn joining the brawl, or should I say one-sided massacre. My god, Scheta is a freaking boss, actually attempting to stop Mr. One Punch here with her hand. In hindsight, not the best of ideas. Then, for Scheta's literal small talk here, I did bring up that Claymore vibe from her. The SAO anime definitely doubled down on that for me, with her soft voice and her being this lady of a few words. Fun remark out of her about Iskahn being ultra hard for her. In fact, Scheta was always looking for the perfect place on the body to slice it up. Important note right here, Scheta actually had no intention of killing them. Then for the burning Iskahn, blaze it up. Just some gorgeous animation right here. I do hope you'll see something similar for the upcoming scenes for Asuna and some other people for the final episodes. Man, Iskahn really wanted to strip this girl. Didn't you just get soft? I mean, with her stripping down, shouldn't it be the opposite? Then for the Black Lady Sword versus his ultra hard fist match. Turns out that these two warriors, despite being born on opposite ends of the underworld, despite achieving different masteries, Scheta and Iskahn are very much alike. So I really have to give props to the SAO anime. Really, what an amazing realization for both of these. Give me more. Too bad though, another fracking interruption. You got Tristan over here with that tackle assist. And don't ask me why, this guy reminded me of a bridge Tristan. You even have a badass takeoff from Scheta. Sorry, my lift dragon is here. Better luck in round 2. For something cut out for the SAO anime, Iskahn actually pondered for a moment. Perhaps if I captured the so-called Light Priestess, maybe then I could ask Vector to spare this woman. And yes, he did think it was a crazy thought. Switching over to Visago. Oh, the little Roni has grown. Both of these two girls didn't get much versus the goblins, but I'll take this. Roni really learned from her Kirito senpai. She even blocked for a fair amount too. Thanks to Visago here, Berkoli and Alice got this wrench thrown into their little plan. Time to split off the teams. Berkoli and the male Shinon could handle this spot. Alice, go over there and help them. Go over there in time to meet a certain somebody. Let's get into it, that very special moment. You've all been waiting for it. Goddess Stacy Asuna's Underworld debut. This whole thing definitely put a smile on my face. About time, Asuna. Talk about being super overpowered. And yes, let me just mention, Asuna does have some restrictions. I do question how they'll portray this in the anime. Let me know down below, how hyped are you for Asuna making her Underworld debut? So talk about a cliffhanger. I think the SAO anime might take this top spot for cliffhangers in anime this year. Overall for this week's episode, what a plus ultra kick-ass episode. Absolutely loved how Scheta vs Iskahn was handled. Come on, figures win. Talking about figures, what a banging cliffhanger with Asuna God mode revealed. At the rate they've been going, I actually almost didn't expect to see Asuna until the next episode. And you know how much I just adore Asuna. I love the additions for the opening. Although I do think they might be hyping up something that won't actually really happen. Then again, I do think SAO has more flexibility for the anime fights now. Fingers crossed I could keep this up not only for the SAO Alicization finale, but the mid-season finale coming up. Next up, getting into the light novel changes going into the SAO anime, some highlights. Cut out near the start was Alice actually recalling back to Eldrie. You did see Alice holding Eldrie's whip tightly. In the SAO light novel, they actually highlighted this a few times. Some of you guys have asked whether Alice had some emotional feelings towards Eldrie. Could Alice and Eldrie have been a thing? Recall that Eldrie had served under Alice, Alice being his mentor. That alone would have put this huge emotional scar on Alice after losing Eldrie. As to whether something romantic could have been possible, Eldrie's feelings on the matter were clear. However, Alice really only just started to open up post-Quinella. I do think the foundations were there. Unfortunately, there just wasn't enough time for something to blossom, especially now with Eldrie being gone. Next up, something else from Alice when she was with Berkoli. Before Renly arrived, Alice actually had some thoughts regarding the god Vector Gabriel. When she announced herself to the Dark Territory forces, Alice felt something dark. She compared it to Quinella. Quinella's true dark nature felt like this lightning strike. On the other hand, the god Vector presence felt more like this endless dark void. Next up, Scheta's backstory, a quick overview. Scheta was known as Scheta the Silent. This was due to her avoiding conversation with the other Integrity Knights. Scheta feared that if she was challenged by one of them, she would end up killing them, which was actually why she lived in Quinella's tower for over 100 years without saying a peep. Like some of the knights, Scheta actually ended up winning the 4 Empire Unification tournament. The juicy bit here was that particular tournament had to be erased from history. Scheta ended up killing every single one of her opponents. Fast forward to Quinella taking interest in Scheta. A great final war had just taken place on the Dark Territory side. Quinella ordered Scheta to go to that battlefield and find a remaining living item. This living being would have absorbed the sacred power from that tragedy. Scheta searched for 3 days and nights, eventually finding this black lily that you saw. The following year, Scheta was challenged to a duel by another Integrity Knight. You won't be surprised to find out the result. Scheta ended up killing the poor fool. After that, Scheta requested Quinella to put her on deep freeze. By the way, really quickly, my top upcoming anime for 2020 is coming soon, along with the best anime for this year, 2019. Can you just take a guess at which anime made my list? But more important, post your thoughts on this SAO episode down below. How did you like the Scheta vs Iskahn fight? How are you excited for Asuna finally here? Definitely subscribe so you don't miss any juicy anime videos. Check out these past awesome videos and I'll see you guys later.